Great, thank you. Yeah, I've just dumped a bunch of URLs, and so I'm going to talk to a few different things. It's curious that not having planned to speak today, that I would end up following Evan, because in some ways I sort of represent a little bit of what he was talking about, in the sense that I have a computer science degree, and they said do GIS, and I made 1,000 maps before I started really thinking hard about cartography and appearance and how they come across. And I love the idea of the hand drawn labels incorporated into some of these digital base maps. I thought I would just start quickly with sort of where the lens I come at things through. I'm the instructor and program coordinator for our GIS program. We've got classes starting up. So we have courses in map and geospatial principles, introduction to GIS, GIS data design and capture, GIS cartography and visualization, and customizing GIS as part of our course offerings that we have. And I'm increasingly, it's interesting because I've now been in the ArcGIS ecosystem for, going on 30 years. So I laughed at the comment about the Esri software, and have seen a lot of iterations. I wouldn't entirely argue with Evan's assessment, but I'm increasingly of the opinion of sort of multiple modalities. There's so many tools out there and so many approaches that we can use. And I wanted to just start off with, some really low-hanging fruit kind of stuff. Google Maps, everybody knows. I love to switch to the terrain view. I like to be able to just drop coordinates in. I was thinking, well, let's talk about the 49th parallel and the 100-degree longitude line. It actually doesn't fall on the boundary.
It's not 4840 or fight.
Yeah, well, and so one of the things we could do is we could go to where they actually have the line represented, and if I right click, now it actually shows me where on this map they actually have determined that. Windy is just beautiful digital cartography to see the patterns of wind. And one of the things that I've been really enjoying is this satellite view, which actually animates. Wow. And it's kind of slow, but it gives you you can set it to preceding 12 hours, 6 hours. And it looks like there's a hurricane that's coming in over Madagascar. And I'm not sure if I'm going to wait for this thing to actually start feeding, but you'll see the 2 hours and you can just watch there we go. So you just see these patterns of clouds and sort of the animation of them. And it's really a wonderful way to discover, look at in the tropics, the way we're getting these mushrooming of these clouds as we get into the afternoon hours. It's really quite a remarkable way to visualize things. The US national map is worth checking out. I'm in the Reading area, so I love the Trinity Alps wilderness, and I could just kind of drop myself in here, and then they'll give us a bunch of different data layers that we can bring in. So we could look at government unit boundaries, for example. We could start to see like where the Forest Service boundaries are and what have you. One of the things that I think is super cool that they provide for us here is that if we go to this X tool and I click on the map, I can actually get spot elevations off this map. Which to me is just pretty cool, because a lot of times I'm like looking at a topo map and they've got spot elevations, and I don't really, I really want to know kind of what they calculate those out as. Topo view is another one that's really nice. I think I gave you guys the view. One of the things that's nice in here, I'm in the Shasta area. I have a friend who's really interested in the McCloud River area. And one of the nice things here is that we can actually go back and look at the historic topos. So I can look at the 1894 topo, and I can see, the place names, and we can get a little bit more of that, the kind of beautiful hand cartography that Evan was talking about, that has been lost a little bit as we've got it into some of these more recent digital versions of these. I do spend a lot of time, as I said, in the ArcGIS products, ArcGIS Online. I sort of alternately go, ooh, that's totally cool, and oh my God, why can't they fix this thing that just seems so simple and obvious? But But in this map viewer, you can create a free sign-in. We have a suite of base maps available to us, which is really nice. Increasingly for digital, they're going to a lot of these dark base maps, because on a monitor, when you're having light projecting from behind the map, it tends to make visibility improved. And then the other thing that we have in here is the ability to just search this just mushrooming number of sort of digital map layers. Former friend of mine I went to grad school at San Francisco State with is one of the key people in this Living Atlas program at Esri. And these are just sort of their curated layers. So we could go and look, for example, at recent earthquakes. You get a little bit of metadata in here with this. And now we see that we've had some recent activity. And I might want to come in, for example, and say, well, let's also go out and see if we can find a faults layer.
And, this is all free.
Yeah, all this is just be available. I'm just, so one of the things, you really got to look at this stuff. So one of the things I ended up with is Saskatchewan data, which I don't particularly want to look at Saskatchewan. So, I could again spend quite a bit of time just sort of rifling around and finding these different layers and exploring them. And you can see, this is quite a rich base map, scale referencing, as we see with all of these digital maps now, where we cache different levels of detail to the map as we zoom in. Again, this is sort of my neighborhood. I thought I would show you essentially the view off my porch. I've been spending a lot of time mapping and doing work in the Klamath Mountains. So you see a really nice sort of the southeastern border of this great physiographic province. This is Shasta Valley at 6,000 feet. Again, in Google Earth. Google Earth is kind of funny. The desktop version Pro is a little different than the online version. So one of the things that I'll do, I'm out here at Shasta Dam, and I just turn on my Avenza maps and take a walk out a favorite trail, and then bring it back in and upload it and drop it in. And I can convert that and bring it back into the ArcGIS Online environment. And I will say, to your question, Tom, one of the things that I've started doing, which a lot of digital cartographers do, is jump out of the ArcGIS environment and into the Adobe Illustrator environment, which is much more graphic oriented and allows you to do a lot more. So I will stop at that and field any questions that folks might have, if there's time.